Hello and welcome to Plot Twisters.
This is a podcast where we take movies and twist the plot to see if we can make them better. And if not, more MapQuesty.
At the moment, we're talking about teen movies from the 80s.
On this episode, Flight of the Navigator from 1986.
I'm Emma and you'll never see your 9th birthday, I promise!
I'm Anders and I'm a Phenosaurus from the Pixar Elliptic.
I love that, Pixar Elliptic. Do you think that's a reference to Pixar, the animation studio?
Or is Pixar the animation studio a reference to this movie?
What?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or like they was kind of the same time-ish, probably.
Yeah. Or it's just completely random. We'll never know.
Pixar Elliptic is like a wonderful, it makes your mouth feel good. Everybody out there, I want everybody who out there in the world who's listening, I want you to close your eyes and just say it with me. Pixar Elliptic. Pixar Elliptic. Pixar Elliptic. It's fun for your mouth. You're welcome.
I love things that are fun for my mouth. So
that's what she said.
Thank you. The Flight of the Navigator, a 1986 American science fiction movie starring Joey Kramer and Sarah Jessica Parker.
That was a wild card, huh?
Yeah. In a fairly small role, but she's the famous one. This film, let me tell you about it. This film is basically about a kid who gets kind of sort of abducted by aliens in a way,
Totally.
but it's not really that. He kind of he falls down a thing and then he wakes up 8 years in the future. And it's very sci-fi-y. He gets picked up by NASA, who run a bunch of tests on him. They eventually discover that his brain is able to communicate directly with computers. So whilst they're asking him questions, in a very laboured, early CGI sci-fi kind of way, we don't really get computers.
Right.
The real answer comes up on the screen of the computer and he's like, what is that?
Oh my God, my brain is so full of stuff I don't know about.
Yeah. And then it turns out that, in fact, when he vanished for 8 years, he travelled 2 solar years away. And basically, that means that he travelled faster than the speed of light. And so, because the quicker you travel, slower time happens. So he didn't age whilst 8 years passed on Earth, which is pretty cool. Which is kind of what Interstellar is about.
I have space questions. Is that real? Space people? If you fast enough, do you not go
kind
older?
of have a good, I say good, I have somewhat of an understanding about this, so I might be able to answer your questions. But yeah, so he doesn't age, and then he comes back. It's 8 years in the future. It's the 80s now. He's never seen a music video, and that's crazy. And then it turns out that this spaceship was the thing that abducted him, and NASA also has this spaceship, but they escape, and he gets in the spaceship, and then he flies around in it, and then the spaceship kind of has a personality, and it makes friends with him, and he calls it Max. And then it turns out that this spaceship was basically trying to learn data about humanity, and then it kind of has to leave him and go home. But it says to him, if you want everything to go back to normal, we have to travel back in time. You're too delicate for that. And the kid's like, no, do it. I want to go back. I don't like this. I don't like being in the future. I don't like this NASA reality. I want everything to go back to the way it was. And he goes, okay. And then they travel back in time and it's fine. And they're back in the 70s. And it's kind of like, it's weird, right? It's kind of,
yeah.
Kind of basic, but also pretty complex at the same time.
Totally, right? It's one of those things where you're like, is this really complicated and smart, or is this kind of dumb?
It's like a kind of basic, straightforward time travel film. But it is explained quite well, I guess you could say.
I think that, here's what I think, right? I think it's sort of like two movies, because in the beginning it's like, Switch, reveal. Is this the Twilight Zone? I've gone, where are my mom and dad? I don't know what you're talking about, son. It's 1986, and it was so scary. Then it becomes like a buddy fun chum film about a boy in his magic spaceship that can talk while they travel around looking for Florida. And then in the end, they're like, you can't travel back in time. You'll explode or get vaporized. And he goes, let's do it anyway. And then they're like, oh, actually, it was fine. Actually, we can go back in time. It's fine.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
Here's the thing. Do you know how in a house you can knock down some walls, but you can't knock down other walls because they're like structural, And if you knock it down, the whole house falls down. Okay. This is a whole house falls down kind of movie for me.
Right.
It's just there. I just need it,
Oh, okay.
Do I think it's a masterpiece? Hell no. I mean, heck no. I mean,
okay.
Shoot no. I think it's fine, but I have fond memories of this movie.
Right.
That still remained when I watched it for the podcast. That's what I think about it is.
Sure.
I remember I liked it when I was a kid, and I kind of still like it. What did you think?
I thought it was kind of whack, but also kind of iconic.
Yep.
It's like this is kind of sucks, but it's also really fun. I would love to see a parody of this film. I think this film is incredibly parodiable. It's almost like it is a parody.
Well, it is, isn't it?
It's self-parodying.
It's like, but also isn't it sort of like a riff on like E.T. because like little boy becomes friends with a spaceship, or with a space thing, and then this movie it's a spaceship. Because the E.T. people were all like looking out, they were trying to figure stuff out, and then E.T. accidentally gets left behind, and in this movie, they were trying to take samples of different like living things.
Sure.
But oops, I crashed into a telephone pole and I lost the map.
Yeah.
They both wanted a phone home. They even referenced E.T. in this movie. Remember when they stopped at that like gas station in Florida or whatever, and the guy was like, he just wanted a phone home. But if you did a parody of this, would it be like all out, like sort of like a slapstick comedy parody kind of a thing, or
it's
what?
just like, I don't know. It's like, okay, as a really specific example, the bit where they are realizing that this kid, what's his name, David, has data stored in his brain.
Right.
He has maps stored in his head.
Right.
The way that plays out, I read it as serious, but if it is in fact comic, then that's my bad. But he's lying there with things on his head, like wires stuck on his head, and then there's a bunch of computer screens and essentially just a bunch of like flashing green lines and symbols that come up and
hacker stuff, internet stuff.
Yeah. And then everybody starts sort of running around and panicking and going, oh my God, he's doing this and blah, blah, blah. And then like later there's a bit where they're trying to track the spaceship, and they're saying these two guys realize that the spaceship has sort of come to life, so they both suddenly jump up and they're putting their suits on, and he's like, set the beamers to auto and turn the thing for 500. Blah, 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 blah. And it just kind of made me think of like Airplane,
Yes,
and the scene where he comes back and it's the 80s and he meets his parents and they both look like haggard.
Awful. They look awful. All right.
And he's like, what happened to you? And it's like, oh my God, you're in your late 30s, I think, or something.
But then meanwhile, his older brother, who's like 17 now, walks up and he's just like the coolest kid in the world. Like,
Yes.
hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm older.
What's
Big
up?
deal.
I'm your younger
Sup,
brother.
sup, buddy? I haven't been affected by the trauma the way mom and dad over there, living corpses, have been affected by the fact that, trauma, the kid did disappear and is presumed dead. But like, it happened 8 years ago, not 80 years ago. Right? It was so weird. I'm so
He's
glad you saw
been
that.
dead for 75 years. And I just was thinking this would be really good to parody.
Yeah.
That he comes back and he runs and he's like, Mom, Dad, where are you? And they're like, I think that I hope somebody, they did like another teen movie and scary movie and stuff like that. Somebody should do one which is about time travel movies from the 80s.
Not another time travel movie. That's a really good idea. I mean, they were all, you put them all together. You take your Back to the Futures, your Bill and Ted's excellent and bogus adventures, and you chuck in the Flight of the Navigator, and you've got a lot to work with. You have a lot of material.
Back to the Future,
yeah,
as well, and just sci-fi movies, maybe even so. Time travel, aliens, abductions. They loved it, didn't they? They loved that in the 80s.
They really did. Well, because this is like the 5th movie we've done where it was like computers were still pretty new, and they featured heavily in the movie with green text and a lot of like men in suits looking at old monitors, and being like, "Whoa, we need to hack into the coordinates. Oh, it's taking over. I don't understand." Because it was the 80s. They just let them love those computer monitors.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about it, though?
What?
I really liked I loved the I'm a big fan of, I believe what they call in the industry, practical effects. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right? Where it's like we could use CGI and computers and make this computers make a thing, or we could just use like really good props and spend a long time. I just, when like there's the spaceship in particular,
or both,
or both. Actually, to be fair, this one did have like melty metal, computer stuff.
Yeah.
But there's this thing was like when the spaceship opens up and it just melts and then forms these stairs that are floating stairs. I'm watching them like the whole time. All I could think of was, how did they make it look like the stairs are floating? Like, where's it's not on wires because it's really rigid. Is it like some sort of bars that are sort of just off camera? And I just really love that, like, at a point in this, in time, right? Some point in the 80s, there were a bunch of people sat around going, how are we going to make these stairs look like they're floating, right? And like, people had to build that and smelt metal and, like, do a prototype, and today it would have just been a really simple and pretty boring, coded on computers and just make the stairs there, right?
Just download one from an online database of pre-rendered
right?
things. Yeah.
Oh, let me just quickly render some metal stairs, and it just made me think that like things that used to be more hands-on, if not took a long time, and so somebody's whole job was probably making those stairs. It's not practical, not in this economy today, but he's still like, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yes, I love practical effects. I loved the robot a lot. I thought that was very well done. There's just a kind of character that you can't get
right
in any other way.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Can I ask you a personal question?
What's up?
Are you wearing a Bare Naked Ladies t-shirt?
Yeah, what of it? It's been 1 week since you looked at me. The chicken of China, the Chinese chicken. What's something your brain starts ticking? Yeah, I'm wearing real fans call them BNL, but
listeners who have only joined us during season 2 for the 80s might not really get why I've specifically mentioned this. If you go back and listen to season 1 where we did all the films from the 90s, you'll realise that Bare Naked Ladies feature quite heavily as a thread.
Yeah, for some reason they just used the song 1 week in 180,000 films.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we addressed that. Anyway, Flight to the Navigator.
What's up with that?
What's
right?
up with
What's
that?
Up with that? Hey, do you are you familiar with, speaking of things from the 90s, are you familiar with in the 80s? Are you familiar with the children's television show Pee-wee's Playhouse? Have you heard of this before?
So, here's an interesting thing about kids from Britain, right? Because we're so exposed to so much American culture, and this is a perfect example. I know what it is. I know the guy. I could tell you what his voice sounds like. I recognize his voice. I know it's a thing, and I know when it was on and what it was, and the kind of people that liked it. I have no idea what it's about, and I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh!
Do you see what I mean?
Yes,
this is the thing that happens when you're a British kid. You like, yeah, I know Pee-wee's Playhouse. I can tell you what it's about because I've never watched an episode. But people talk about it, and I've heard them talk about it, and I've seen clips of him.
Why don't you guess what Pee-wee's Playhouse is about? What do you think Pee-wee's Playhouse is about?
Pee-wee. I think he's a very, very, very small man. 2 inches high, maybe.
Interesting. Okay.
2 to 4 inches high. And he lives in the house. Okay, so there's a family, and there's a child
Uh-huh.
They go to the toy store, and like it's like a Buzz Lightyear situation, and he buys a toy, but the toy is actually Pee-wee,
right?
And brings it home in the box, and then he puts it. It's like a doll, and he puts it in the playhouse, which is a doll's house, and then he he goes to bed. The lights turn down,
right?
And then the little lights on the dollhouse turn on, and Pee-wee wakes up inside the house, the doll's house, the playhouse, and that's the opening credits to Pee-wee's Playhouse. And then he plays with all the other toys and all the other dolls, and they have little adventures inside the dollhouse.
You are off base, sister.
Whoa.
First of all, Pee-wee is a full-sized man. Okay.
No. Why is it called Pee-wee then?
Don't know. Maybe it's a family name, or just because he's a strange man. He's a strange man, full size.
Yeah.
He lives in a real but cartoonish house. Speaking of practical
he's kind of like
effects.
Mr. Maker, I think, which is a British equivalent, I'm pretty sure.
Was he a little bit sort of avant-garde and weird and kind of crazy?
He is not so much, but he's kind of like it's a children's TV series in Britain, if you didn't know, and it's like way beyond my time, younger than me. But it's just a guy who lives. He has a house, and he's like, "Hi kids, today we're gonna do this."
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
but he also wears a weird gray suit and a bow tie, and there's like a lot of talking furniture in his house, like a talking chair and a genie, a floating head genie, and a fish tank, and celebrities will just come to visit, but weird, I'm pretty sure there's an episode where Johnny Cash just shows up and hangs out in Pee-wee's Playhouse. This show is bananas and a little bit psychedelic and wild. But Pee-wee was like a character played by Paul Rubens, the actor and voice actor, and he was on TV for 6 years, late 80s, mid 80s to sort of the early 90s. Totally iconic, totally original, crazy, wonderful, wacky stuff. And if you have time, I would recommend rewatching, dear listener, some episodes of Pee-wee's Playhouse, because it is actually fantastic and brilliant and insane and weird and wonderful, but also felt a little bit alternative and a little bit like MTV-ish kind of a thing. It was really weird and really good, and you should watch it. And I bring it up because for some reason Paul Rubens was in Flight of the Navigator, and he is the voice of the spaceship. And when he laughs as he does the Pee-wee Herman laugh, which is not the Paul Rubens laugh. It's a specific character laugh of Pee-wee Herman, and I don't know why he did it in this movie, but he kept it was obvious that he was trying to sound like Pee-wee Herman, and that was weird and kind of cool.
When is this character from? When was the dawn of Pee-wee Herman?
Let me look it up. I think it was 84, 85. It must have been. Well, it was before this. Oh, was it? Hang on. Oh, when was it? Oh, weird. Okay, wait a minute. My whole world is sort of unfolding and then folding in on itself. Pee Wee Herman debuted the 13th of September, 1986. The same year that this... Did he...
When did the film come out?
Did he do the voice first in the movie as the spaceship while he was developing Pee Wee?
So Pee Wee Herman is actually a reference to Max the Machine from Flight of the Navigator.
Although, actually, I mean, maybe Pee Wee as a character was developed before then. So, you know, we're gonna have to talk to Paul Rubens about this. I think.
I was gonna say it's like perhaps he was workshopping the character and came up with it, and it was just coincidental. But I guess you could also say it's one of those weird little things that we come across in these time travel movies where, so in Dirty Dancing there was a song that was from the wrong time, but it was the right time for when the film came out, but it's the wrong time for the time that the film is set. The film's set in the when was it set in the 70s?
It was like the 60s, right?
60s. But the song was from the 80s. So it's kind of like you'll want to make a film about the past, but you also want to put some nice references in. Yeah. What voice would your robot downloaded thing have? What would it sound like?
I think you know. Oh, I've downloaded your brain. Blinky blonky. You got all these weird thoughts in your mind, man. It would be Sir Paul McCartney. The voice in my head is Paul McCartney. My
robot voice would be the voice of Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time.
Ooh, yes.
Do you know that one?
Yes.
I need to get into it. Oh my god!
Yeah.
What's going on? This is like so ridiculous. I can't even believe that you're like totally running away from NASA. That's like so lame. And then in the background, my it would just be something going. Do 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 do. Just on a loop constantly. Travel in time with us, back in time to the 90s. In season 1 of our podcast, we watched 50 films from the 90s, talked about them, said what we liked, said what we didn't like, what's aged well, what's aged badly. Have a listen. And once you've listened, why not review our podcast and maybe share it with a friend? See what they think. That's how you really achieve time travel, people. It's by listening to old stuff. So, here's what I'm thinking. In this film, he comes back as a 12-year-old. He runs straight to his house. There's some old people there. There's a man in a very fabulous
what was he,
robe.
Was that Hugh Hefner or something?
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
And he's lounging there and he's... sorry, we need to talk about this. He's lounging there and he's reading something in this, like, silken red robe.
Yeah.
And a random boy, barges into his room. He slowly turns with a smile on his face and says,
"What's wrong?
Hey there, son. You alright?
What's wrong, son?"
And it's like, huh? And then he's like, "Where's my mom and dad?" And he's like, "Don't worry, everything's fine." Gets up, follows him out, and goes, "Are you okay?" And it's like, why aren't you being like, what?
Do you know why? Because this guy is chill AF.
Chill
right?
AF.
This
is the chillest dude that has ever been depicted in the history of cinema.
This frantic, filthy, teary-eyed 12-year-old barges in, and he's just like, "It's cool, bro.
Okay.
Look at the view out onto the water." Which, by the way...
have you seen my robe?
I'm so silky.
I'm so comfortable
I will say, he definitely It showed me that room is much better served as like a loungy adult space and not as a kid's bedroom.
Sorry.
Right?
Sorry. Can you imagine having a room on the upper floor of your house?
Yeah.
Which is just for you, with a single chair in it facing the window, with a collection of like records and books, I think it was.
Yeah. And cigars and,
you just,
brandy, probably.
Of an evening, sitting there in your red robe, in your red silk robe, having a brandy, reading a book or magazine or something or whatever it is.
I can't imagine.
And your wife is elsewhere.
Yeah. It sounds amazing. It sounds luxurious, right? And this guy... He's just oozing cool and sexuality. He's a sexy.
This is a very sexual
man.
I have to say, if this wasn't a kids' film, I would have assumed that he was doing something adult in there.
Wow. Yeah, because he's not just sitting there reading the newspaper in his silky reds.
No, who does that? That's not
the only.
What you wear to Rodden. Yeah.
If there was an itinerary for this gentleman's evening, newspaper reading and silkiness they're not the only things. They might be the amuse bouche to the main course of a day.
So this is what the film is. So the film is the evening of Adrian McCarthy.
Adrian McCarthy. That's his name. The guy with the silk robe? The chill guy? Nice.
Yeah.
Adrian McCarthy.
He doesn't work because he's retired.
Can I just workshop his last name real quick?
Okay.
Adrian Steel.
Steel. See, I thought McCarthy because like McCarthyism because I was thinking about the 80s and the Red Scare, but Steel.
No,
Adrian Steel. Adrian Steel. Do you remember about I want to say like 10 to 15 years ago, there was a Galaxy advert which was being narrated by a guy with a smooth voice, and it's like just women eating Galaxy chocolate kind of very seductively.
Kind of, yeah. I think I know what you're saying.
I'm kind of seeing that, and it's like, I can't get my voice low enough.
Hey, welcome to chocolate.
Ooh, girl, sit yourself down. Have a piece of Galaxy chocolate.
Come on, son. Don't worry about your parents. Come on, sit down and enjoy some jazh. Like that? The name's Adrian.
You seem stressed. Hey, boy, who's just come into my room at high velocity. You seem stressed.
Hey, can I just say, right? Can I just say, you seem a little stressed.
Yeah. Do you want some weed?
I don't know if you saw the sign. And then he points to a sign on the wall, and it just says, no bad vibes.
No bad vibes, no bummers.
And the kid goes, but I'm really looking for Where's my
mom? Where's my mom?
Again, the sign. He just keeps pointing at the sign with his bong.
Like, shh.
Right?
Sit down.
Sit down. This used to be my bedroom. No, it didn't. Yeah, it did. I used to have the bed over there. You are hallucinating. But I like it.
Trophy man. Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
Sure, it's your bedroom. Oh, sure, you've traveled 8 years in time. Oh, yeah, man. So, what are you on right now?
It's gotta be something. It's gotta be uppers, downers.
Seems pretty good.
Does he have one of those buttons that's like in the console and he presses it and like a strobe light and a what's that? A disco ball come down and like cool music comes on the radio, you know?
It's like, okay, here's what it is. We hit 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Adrian Steel has been with his wife, and they've been doing their hobbies together, gardening.
Maybe like shipping a
whittling,
bottle kind of a thing, you know?
I was about to say. I said whittling wooden figures was what I was going to say.
My God.
And you said shipping a bottle.
Yep. Oh, get out of my head. Yes.
So she's like, when is this? 86. She's like crocheting. Is that an 80s thing?
Yeah, maybe crocheting after an aerobics class. You know?
Yeah. Water aerobics.
Water aerobics, yeah, with like the big hair and those weird like
the swim caps with the daisies.
Yeah.
And Then they do their hobbies together. We get to 5 p.m. Adrian stands up suddenly from the sofa with plastic on it.
Right. Yeah.
What's her name?
Sheila.
I was thinking Sheila.
Oh, this is weird. Yeah. Sheila Steele. Sheila and Adrian Steele.
Sheila. Wait, let me just lubricate my... Sheila, it's time for me to head upstairs. How effective is that? That's really effective.
Yeah.
It's time for me to head upstairs. It's my time. It's Adrian's time. And she's like, okay, dear. Well, I'll just, dinner's gonna be at 7. Okay, I'll be down for 7, but it's my time now. And he heads upstairs. And things aren't getting wild yet, because that's later, right?
Yep.
It's late afternoon.
Yeah.
There's still like a nice autumnal golden sunlight.
Oh, it's the golden hour. Love that.
He steps in, he puts on his the like brown slippers that are like,
yeah.
You know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
He puts on he strips naked and then puts on the robe.
So, like, and I know that you can only be 100% naked and that's it, but he achieves 110% naked. It's so naked.
So naked.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Then the robe comes on.
Yeah.
What's the first thing he walks into this room, right? We've got things like a really ornate drinks cabinet with brandy, whiskey.
There's like cool glass bottles, and the
decanters.
Yeah.
We've got like a record player, loads of records,
sure,
loads of jazz, of course. Bookshelf. Obviously, the newspaper.
Yeah, don't forget the news.
What's the first thing he does? What does he do?
I sort of feel like he lights a pipe, and then he sits cross-legged with the robe, but his legs are sort of sticking out of the robe. And then he opens the financial newspaper right to the stocks, and he looks down and he goes, "Yep, just made another $1 million." And he just sort of looks slightly off to the left with a little smile.
Cool.
Nice. And for some reason, he was nude earlier, but then he puts on.
Has he not? Maybe he hasn't put the robe on yet. Maybe the robe comes on later. Maybe he has naked time first.
Maybe, or like gold thong only. So there's something because he needs something, but not a lot. And, maybe he has some rings and some gold chains. I'm not
and the movie's called Gold Thong Only.
It's like you read the my order confirmation for my last clothes delivery from that trunk service that gives you, bespoke clothing just for you. And then he sits down and he does this thing where he sort of puts his arms one over each side of the couch, and he leans his head back. And he's a tall guy, so his head sort of flops back behind the sofa, facing the doorway. And that's when the little boy comes in.
Kiddo runs in.
David.
I'll be David.
Okay.
Mom, Dad, where are you? Hey, wait, this is my bedroom. Where's all my stuff?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. I think you're mistaken, son. This is my bedroom, but it's not for the bed. It's for relaxation.
But where's all my stuff gone? Who are you?
The name's Adrian Steele. Son, calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Grab a seat.
Where's my mom?
I don't know your mom. Well, I might know your mom. Do I know your mom? We'll figure that out. Relax. What'd you say your name was?
My name's David.
Not tonight.
Really?
Tonight,
Oh.
Your name is Feather. Your name is Feathers. Mr. Feathers.
Mr. Feathers?
It's kind of a thing that I do around here. Keep it interesting. People come into my house, I give them a new name, new you, new lifestyle, new concept, new commitment to life.
You chose Mr. Feathers.
I did.
It's Adrian, I've just met you, but it kind of sounds like you were trying to do something kind of cool.
I'm
but that's
I'm just exploring, just feeling it out.
Not very cool.
I look over at you, and here's what I think. I think two things. Number one, I think scared kid needs to calm down. Number two, looks soft like feathers. You dig it?
Yeah.
You digging on that?
Okay. That's kind of odd. NASA is chasing me. The space guys.
Oh yeah.
And
far out.
I'm really confused because everything is different, and I'm looking for my mom and I can't find her. And this used to be my bedroom, and now you're here.
Feathers. Let me tell you this. Everybody's looking for something. We're all looking for something. You're looking for your mom. I'm looking for a new level of inner peace. Chicken's looking for corn. Fish looking for other fish. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking for that dollar bill, y'all. And most importantly, guess what? You're not going to find them.
What?
You know why?
What?
Because nobody really has a mom. Nobody really has a dad. Nobody really has a bedroom. Nobody really has anything except for your own mind.
Are you saying my parents are dead?
I'm saying your parents never lived. Also, I don't know. I'm not sure. Do we need to call the police or something? You're really harshing my buzz, Feathers, right? that is a no-no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate the apology. So, other than this whole finding your parents thing, story, which is a bit of a drag. What else is going on? What are you into?
I like the Beach Boys.
Ooh, now you're talking my language.
Yeah, you like the Beach Boys. Hey, nobody seems to know the Beach Boys anymore. In the 80s.
Yeah, well, I'm like a cool guy from the 60s and 70s. So what are you into? Are you into their earlier stuff, or do you like the sort of later stuff? I personally, I really like really like the Holland album. You ever listen to that? It came out in 78.
I don't think my dad has that one.
What do you like, Surf's Up?
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Cool.
I kind of want to surf. I kind of picture myself like, I'm only 12, so I don't really know what's going on, but I kind of picture myself as one of those people in the future that I could get into like surfing stuff.
Hey, you can be anything you want in the future. I know I am.
Cool. Hey, can I sorry, this might be weird because we've just met you and I've just come into your room, but can I just say, like, you really seem like a cool dude.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You seem like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
Do you want to be my new dad?
I was going to say.
Are you feeling this?
Yeah.
Are you feeling this?
Are we starting a band? Is this what's happening?
Oh my God, we should start a band.
I feel like we just started a band, okay?
Yeah. You know something else I'm thinking?
Yeah.
I don't even know what this really means because it's the 80s, but like in the future, maybe we should start like a podcast.
Whoa.
Like a show where people talk, we should do that.
Yeah, and you know what it would be called? Feathers and Steel. The real talk.
The real deal with Feathers and Steel.
The real deal with Feathers and Steel. And because you are soft and I'm punchy, and together we can really do something. But before we do anything, I think we need to just stand here and look out on the beautiful Florida watery, the beautiful marina, and
I love that.
Watch the sunset together, son.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son. The end. Yeah. That's
Can I
the
say
one.
something?
Well, are you Feathers or are you?
No, this is me. This is Emma.
Okay, yeah.
I think we should be ashamed of ourselves.
What do you mean? More so or what?
Wasting everybody's time.
I don't know what you're talking about. We just created a world, a whole world, based off of a tiny character. Whoever played that guy in the movie, right? if he were with us today, which I'm going to just assume, rest in peace.
Should we find out? Hey, look, do you know what? Why are we speculating when we have the whole internet?
I just feel like he would be really, really, really pleased to know that his 30-second 2-line character, with such famous lines as, hello, son, and it'll be okay, son, has been fleshed out into a whole 3-dimensional world wherein...
I don't think he's even credited.
It can't be. He was barely in the movie.
Oh, no! He is!
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Who is he? What's his name? What did he do? Tell me all about it.
Oh, he's so good. I found a picture of him.
Yes.
Here you are. Here he comes. You ready? Oh, I can't. How do I...
Drag and drop.
Oh, God, it's not working. Wait, okay.
Screenshot.
He's coming later. I'll send you him later.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Richard Liberty.
Whoa.
Who you may remember from such things as Day of the Dead.
What?
Porky's 2.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
He passed away on October the 2nd, 2000.
He'll never get my letters.
I know. That's sad, isn't it? The Crazies. He was in the final countdown.
That's not the same thing.
He was in 16 things.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now on IMDb. He was in a TV show called Key West where he played, quote, homeless man. He was also in the TV series Moon Over Miami where he played Fred for one episode.
He was in Miami Vice as Professor, brackets, uncredited, close brackets.
So he lived a rich, one-dimensional, short-lived, one-line.
On this podcast, we stand Richard Liberty, the actor who played...
I love that guy so much.
Mr. Howard in The Flight of the Navigator from 1986. Okay, this needs to stop. This nonsense needs to stop.
All right, okay, it's over. It's over.
Let's go back to being sensible grown-ups. And please, Anders, I would love to know, on a scale of 1 to 5 burgers, how many burgers do you give the film Flight of the Navigator?
My heart says 3, but my head says 2.5.
But I thought you liked it a lot from your childhood and stuff.
Yeah, but let me put it to you this way. I like this movie. I'm going to stick with 3, but I'll tell you this. If the house is on fire and I had to grab 3 video cassettes out of my whole collection and run, okay? I don't think I'd be going, oh, fuck, oh man, where's Flight of the Navigator? You know what I mean?
Because it's on Amazon Prime, so it's fine.
No. This is conceptually, relevant.
Sorry, I wasn't exploring the story space in the way that in the rules that you'd set for me.
I guess this is a movie that was really important to me when I was younger, and then I kind of forgot that it was movie. Grew up, watched it again when I was in my 20s, and thought this movie's still cool. Then I forgot all about it again. And then we watched it for the podcast, and I was like, this movie's so cool. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you keep forgetting about this movie. So maybe it's a maximum of 3.
Okay.
What about you?
I am going to do a 2.5 after saying that you're not allowed to do that. Because let me tell you about the 2.5. The 2.5 is perfect for the film where it's I watched it.
Right.
I wasn't unhappy during that time. I paid attention, but I will have forgotten in probably 3 to 4 weeks that we did an episode on this movie.
It's forgettable because this movie is great, but it's forgettable because it's not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 3 to 4 weeks time, I'll go, oh yeah, remember, what was that film again? The one with the weird shiny spaceship and the dude with the red robe.
Man, one day we need to do a quiz where I give you a plot and you try to tell me what the movie is that we watched.
I think we did that. Didn't we do that? Like in our
No, did we?
in our season interlude episode,
yeah.
You gave me some of the twists, and then I had to remember which film it was.
Oh yeah, I gave you the twist. That's
no, you gave me the film, and then I had to remember the twist.
Remember the twist. That's very hard.
That's hard.
That's
okay,
difficult.
But when we eventually reach the end of this season, I'm gonna do it for you. So
yeah, deal. All right, bring it on, Donkey
You'll
Kong.
definitely do better than me.
I have a photographic memory, by which I mean I can remember a couple of photographs that I've taken in my life.
I can remember taking photographs.
I have a camera.
I know how to do that. Lovely.
I can load film if I wanted to.
Wow. Get you. I have a phone. So.
Yeah, all right, you will.
Holy shoot!
What?
There's going to be a reboot on Disney Plus.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! What? They're bringing it back. Is it a TV show or is it a movie? I don't care. Both. What? Flight of the Navigator coming back.
The September 2021, the remake, or rather reboot, was in development with Dallas Howard said to direct with a female protagonist.
Whoa.
It's a film. So there you go.
Flight of the Lady Navigator.
Flight of the Navigatess.
Flight of the
Flightess of the Navigatess.
Navigate.
Yeah.
Flight of the Navigator 2. We're back, and it's a girl now. Woman. Yeah. She's only using 10% of her brain. Deal with it.
Women, am I right? And she's going shopping. In space. Shopping in space? Is that
Where have you been for the last 8 years? Shopping! Women do shopping.
Anyway. Thank you for listening to this episode of Plot Twisters.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you have the time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm going shopping. Goodbye.